One golden apple, three goddesses, one impossible choice, and a war that would burn the greatest city in the ancient world to ash. The Trojan War is not just a myth, it is the story of pride, passion, betrayal, and the terrifying consequences of decisions made by both gods and mortals. It is a story that has echoed through 3,000 years of human history, and today we tell it from the very beginning to the very end. This is the full story of the Trojan War. Our story begins not on a battlefield, but at a wedding. The goddess Eris, goddess of discord, was the only deity not invited to the wedding of Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Furious, she arrived anyway, and rolled a single golden apple across the floor inscribed with 3 words, "For the fairest." 3 goddesses immediately claimed it. Hera, queen of the gods. Athena, goddess of wisdom, and Aphrodite, goddess of love. Zeus, wisely refusing to choose between them, appointed a mortal to judge, a young Trojan prince named Paris. Each goddess offered him a bribe. Hera offered power and kingdoms. Athena offered wisdom and skill in battle. But Aphrodite offered something no young man could resist, the most beautiful woman in the world. Paris chose Aphrodite, and with that choice, he sealed the fate of Troy forever. The most beautiful woman in the world was Helen, but there was one problem. She was already married. Helen, daughter of Zeus himself, was the queen of Sparta, wife of King Menelaus. Paris traveled to Sparta as a guest. Menelaus welcomed him with open arms, and then Paris betrayed everything. He took Helen back to Troy with him, whether by seduction, by force, or by the irresistible magic of Aphrodite herself. The ancient sources disagree on the details, but the result was the same. When Menelaus discovered his wife was gone, his rage shook the ancient world. He called upon every Greek king who had once sworn an oath to protect Helen's marriage, an oath they had all taken years before, knowing that whoever married Helen would need protecting. One by one, the greatest heroes of Greece answered the call. Agamemnon, king of Mycenae and brother of Menelaus, took command. Achilles, the greatest warrior alive, joined the fleet. Odysseus, the cleverest man in Greece, came despite trying to avoid the war. Ajax, Diomedes, Nestor, 1,000 ships gathered at the port of Aulis, ready to sail for Troy. The war had not yet begun, and already it had changed the world. The Greek fleet landed on the shores of Troy, and the fighting began immediately. But Troy was no ordinary city. Its walls were legendary, built by the gods Poseidon and Apollo themselves. No army had ever breached them. Here, for 9 long years, the Greeks fought outside the walls of Troy, raiding nearby cities, sending supply lines, and slowly exhausting both sides. The Trojans, led by the noble prince Hector, Paris's older brother and the greatest warrior in Troy, held the line year after year. The gods themselves took sides. Hera and Athena, still furious over the golden apple, supported the Greeks. Aphrodite and Apollo backed the Trojans. Zeus attempted to stay neutral and mostly failed. Heroes rose and fell. Legends were written in blood on the plains of Troy. But after 9 years, neither side had won, and then everything changed. In the 10th year of the war, the Greek commander Agamemnon made a catastrophic mistake. He insulted Achilles, the greatest warrior in the entire Greek army, by stealing his war prize, a woman named Briseis. Achilles, consumed by rage and wounded pride, did the unthinkable. He withdrew from battle entirely. Without Achilles, the Greek army began to crumble. The Trojans, led by Hector, pushed them back to their own ships. Achilles watched his friends die, and still he refused to fight, until the day his closest companion, Patroclus, could bear it no longer. Patroclus put on Achilles' armor and led the Greeks back into battle, hoping his presence alone would turn the tide. It almost worked, but Hector met Patroclus on the battlefield and killed him. When news reached Achilles, something in him shattered. His grief turned into something beyond rage. He put on new divine armor, forged overnight by Hephaestus himself, and returned to the battlefield with one single purpose: to find Hector and make him pay. Their duel beneath the walls of Troy is one of the most legendary moments in all of mythology. Hector ran. Achilles chased. 3 times around the walls of Troy they ran, until Hector finally turned to face his fate. Achilles drove his spear through Hector's throat. Troy's greatest defender was gone. With Hector dead, Troy's spirit was broken, but its walls still stood. The Greeks were running out of time, out of supplies, and out of ideas, until Odysseus had one. The Greeks built an enormous wooden horse, hollow inside, and hid their greatest warriors within it. Then they burned their camp, sailed their ships just out of sight, and left the horse on the beach with a single Greek soldier named Sinon, who told the Trojans it was a sacred offering to Athena. The Trojans debated. The prophetess Cassandra screamed warnings that nobody believed. Cursed by Apollo, never to be trusted. The priest Laocoon hurled a spear at the horse and begged his people not to bring it inside. And then 2 great sea serpents rose from the ocean and crushed Laocoon and his sons to death. A sign, the Trojans believed, from the gods. They brought the horse inside the walls of Troy. They celebrated. They feasted. They believed the war was finally over. That night, while Troy slept, the Greeks slipped out of the horse. They opened the city gates for the fleet that had quietly returned, and Troy, the unconquerable city, burned. King Priam was killed at his own altar. Princess Cassandra was taken. Queen Hecuba watched her city turn to ash. Paris, who had started it all, had already been killed by an arrow guided by Apollo. Helen was taken back to Menelaus. After 10 years, the war was over, but the cost was beyond calculation. The Trojan War was not just a war between Greeks and Trojans. It was a war between pride and wisdom, between passion and consequence. between the will of gods and the courage of mortals. One golden apple, one impossible choice, one city in flames, and a story that humanity has never stopped telling, because somewhere in the ruins of Troy, we recognize ourselves. If this story moved you, subscribe to Legends and Gods of Greece, where every week we uncover the myths that still rule our imagination today. And tell us in the comments, whose side were you on, the Greeks or the Trojans?